station in the country and say, I want the Chris show. It's going to be a variety show. I'm going to do some lassoing. I'm going to ride a horse. And I'm going to do skydiving tricks. And it's going to be called the Chris show. Let's say that's NESN, New England Sports Network. They would say, I like it, Chris. That's called a time buy. We're happy to sell you 2:30 a.m. on Thursday nights for $300,000. What? Who? I want a TV deal. You're not going to give me money for that? No, that's a time buy.
I like the part about how in lacrosse you can't normally hit in lacrosse, and it's like a big problem. But here, it's like they have a thing called the enforcer, and like when there's a big problem, they send him out there, and he just takes care of business. And I feel like that's something like I didn't really know about that coming in here. So I feel like they got something about everybody that they can enjoy the game. So I really like the enforcer part.
Players overpaid.
Well, because they're just very overrated. I don't know. They're just have,
anyone can play baseball.
I don't know. I can't say it. You should have told me you're doing this because I don't know.
Played football and ran track there, and while I was there, I volunteered for a program called Sports Society.
Which you guys are going to?
Yeah. So I volunteered at Sports Society, and I was volunteering for 3 years. And while I was doing that, I was like, wow, this is something I want to stay involved in once I'm done with college and stuff like that. So my major was sociology and a minor in communication. So once I graduated, I was fortunate to play professional for 2 years. And after that, I touched base with somebody else named Tracy. I was actually working at Sports Society at the time. So when I touched base with her, she had left Sports Society and was working here at Metro Lacrosse. So I was like, oh, Tracy, I want to get involved in that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff I want to get. I'm back home now. And she was like, oh, well, I'm on a new program called Metro Lacrosse. Come check it out. So I was like, lacrosse? I didn't know much about lacrosse at the time. So came to the office. It was an old office at the time. They introduced me to everybody on staff. You know, learn a little bit about lacrosse and how the program works and stuff like that. And I was like, so they sold me right there on everything they do and being involved in urban youth and all that stuff. And obviously it's a lot bigger than lacrosse. It's more about building character and everything else, more so than lacrosse. So that's so.
Like, did they care about you more or care about you less? Like from high school to college, was there any difference in between those levels, or did they not care about you enough at college and only saw you as like another tool to use?
See, there's a difference between, in terms of college sports, in terms of Division I, Division II, and Division III. It's a big difference. Obviously, Division III is not as you know, as strict as playing Division I.
I wouldn't say that, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, it's demanding. I didn't play Division III. I played Division I. So she could she went to a Trinity, so she could touch base more on that. But
I enjoyed listening to Chris Collins and him explaining how athletes act on and off the field and how each differs differently. Also how he said that when you play a sport it becomes a job and you gotta use time management really well to maintain that sport no matter what level it's at, but mostly at D1. And that's what my take on Chris Collins briefly is, and I really enjoyed listening to him speak.
Go.
So the group went to meet Mr. Leibowitz at Sports Society in Northeastern, and it was a great experience to learn about someone that took a pro athlete and showed the community how it can be a role model, and he does a really good job in teaching leadership programs through the role model and gets people's attention. So that's a good way how sports provides good role models in the community, and we all really enjoyed it.
So recently we went to Boston, and I just want to talk about what kind of some of the stuff we learned. And usually when you think about sports, you think about like what goes on like ahead of the curtain, and like that's basically like the competitiveness of the players, and like you don't really think about what goes on behind the scenes. So we really actually got to look on what went on behind the scenes, and we talked to many people in Boston about the business in sports. We talked to the GM about the Boston Blazers, and it was a good experience, and I think it's going to really prepare me for the future along with my classmates.
One, two, three.
I gotta say something.
It's all blue in here. See, I was